For me to be able to fairly evaluate my work, I need to answer 4 key questions that occurred to me throughout the production stages, and they are as follows. In what way does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? How effective is your combination of your main product and ancillary tasks? What have you learned from your audience feedback? And how did you use new media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? First things first, I'll answer the first question. In what way does your product use, develop or challenge conventions set by real media products?
Throughout the entire research, production and creative stages, I was always keen to achieve one goal above all else: for my trailer to stand out in the crowd of repetitive, laboriously similar horror genre trailers. It seems now that when you go to the cinema, you are inundated with clone after clone of trailers using the same conventions, the same ideas and the same techniques, which just results in horror movies lacking originality. For my trailer, and indeed my entire promotional campaign, I isolated a gap in the market in that not many horror films are based around the colour white. I did, as you can see, originally plan to feature black as my dominant colour, but admittedly some films have ventured into the idea of using a unique palette to their films and done it to good use. The Saw franchise has been known to do it, as well as The Ring. On the whole, however, horror movies revolve around black. It's understandable why. The black will pump up the tension to mammoth highs. Some of the highest profile horror films have used black like these. I was aware the editing was also invaluable to achieve this motif. Frequently I would cut from dark to white and vice versa. The screen in the camera would be flashing white and black, subconsciously delivering the message of a good versus evil to the prospective customers. The MPAA rating system was a necessity, while the production's company logos were conventional. It's all important for a company to get recognition and appraisal for the production of a film. While it could act as an incentive for viewers to attend, you're much more likely to go and watch a film by a renowned production company. One factor that was conventional, but not a necessity, is the critic's opinion, which allows your movie's best reviews to be featured on your promotional campaign, if your product is subject to praise from a respectable source, in sales being improved. I wanted to tap into this convention, but in the early days of my production, I failed to realise that the website was only a teaser trailer stage. I included quotes that critics could have used if they had watched the film, and this wouldn't have been possible at this stage. I rectified this situation by making the quote more abstract and being based around the director's reputation and is more of a prediction than an observation. One thing I realised during my research is that many films focus heavily on camera techniques such as handheld or first-person shots. I wanted to use shots that would seem more at home during bigger budget, blockbuster or sophisticated drama. I was inspired by the Kiefer Sutherland movie Mirrors. The shots in that movie were effective in delivering the frights to the audience, but also some looked beautiful and reeked of mise-en-scène. With these shots imprinted on my retina, I started to shoot and was looking for strong establishing shots to set the scene in the early stages of the trailer. I started with a low-angled side view of Darren's house, showing its size and making it clear that Darren was probably alone in this vast building. Additionally, the time is dawn, 6:15 AM, to show that it is nearly morning, so much so that the darkness still covers large proportions of the landscape. The film Mirrors has numerous shots where the character is small in the frame and not centralised, indicating a loss or lack of power. I wanted to include a similar form of representation and was keen to replicate this convention. To do this, I filmed Darren to the left-hand side of each shot in the first sequence. According to Vladimir Prop, a media presentation should have several key characters if it is to be effective. For a trailer, however, only the major characters deserve airtime. For this reason, I used only 3 of the character roles he suggested. They were the hero, Darren, the villain, the masked man, and the dispatcher, the radio presenter. You could argue that Timothy acts as the donor, foreshadowing Darren's potential fate. Prop only analysed 100 stories to come up with this theory. Another way I established this cinematic feel was to film in conventionally intimidating locations. The church, a beacon of hope for many, is also held in fear, especially the graveyard. Many horror films and dramas have used the graveyard to show either the awakening of the deceased or religious mishappenings. Following Mirrors' use of mise-en-scène to show the building overwhelming the characters, I decided to add my own take. Angel of Death features heavily on the enigma of, is this really death, or as the media suggest, an escaped patient on the rampage? By having this shot, suggesting he is the real deal, along with the audio of the skeptic media saying he is a normal person in costume, it continues this enigma to the extent the audience will be left asking, who do I believe, the shot types or the audio? During the 80s, movie trailers had creepy soundtracks which accompanied the movie's chiller themes. Nowadays, in the case of Saw or Scream, the music has become much more epic, so much so that you could mistake them for thrillers or action movies. I wanted to hark back to these original conventions of old, where understated music ruled over gimmicky ones. That's why my music is very slow burning, letting the visuals do the talking, acting as an accompaniment to the screen. This is how it was done before big bands and orchestras were introduced to horror, but in latest years in fashion, music and movie making, the trend has been to go back to basics, back to trends of the past, and back to how it used to be done. I additionally featured some dead space in the trailer's visuals, which resulted in black space appearing on the screen on occasion. This isn't uncommon for horror movies to do this, because it gives the viewer a chance to think about what they have just seen or heard, while also adding to the suspense and enigma. The viewers will be left looking at a blank screen, wondering what is coming next. In Angel of Death's case, the black space is preceded by radio audio of a news reporter reporting that a child has vanished in the village. The clip that follows the blackout is of him running from the assailant, not showing him, however, to pump up the enigma. The three text colours I used throughout the trailer are predominantly white, followed by black, and then red. All of these colours are conventional, but not in that particular order. For most horror films, the base colour will be black, the text colour white, and the effect colour red. As I have said, I wanted to develop this convention to make white the new black. White is also relevant to my movie as it connotes the religious storyline. It was designed to be a subliminal message that good, light, would overcome bad, darkness. The font I was using was called Perpetua Titling, a serif font, making it seem dated and conventional, much like religion. I was keen for the typography to mildly resemble that used on the Holy Bible, to further follow the other motif, religion. Films have used this technique to good use in the past, such as The Exorcist or The Omen, and I was more than willing to follow in their footprints. I also wanted my trailer's chronology to be consistent with the conventions set before. Tesistan Todorov, a Bulgarian linguist, suggested that movies should follow the equilibrium, threat to equilibrium, new equilibrium pattern. In trailers, however, I deemed that it would be wrong to show the new equilibrium, as too much enigma would be lost. For this reason, my trailer shows the two characters living life as normal, eating breakfast and walking to school, until the news report and murder of Timothy acts as the threat to the story's equilibrium. One thing I noticed during my research is that most movie websites and posters are predominantly minimalistic, as the trailer takes centre stage. This was one convention I was wholeheartedly keen to adhere to. Looking at some of the websites I analysed, it's clear that the majority of real media products also follow suit. The Crazies, revolving around a similar colour scheme to me, prove the ultimate inspiration to the layout of my site. You can see by the flat plans I drew up that it had a large bearing over my designing process. Putting them next to each other, my website and the Crazies website, you can see the similarities in structure. Also, the Frozen site follows a similar pattern. One factor I noticed, however, with both is that the film trailer is slightly orientated to the left. I believe this disjointed the page and made it seem messy. For this reason, I ramified this fear when designing my own piece for Angel of Death's website. The video is centrally aligned. The hyperlink bar is in common place at the top of the page, looking down at the content and acting as a subsidiary section to the site. It's clear that producing a website in this way, it is designed to avert the viewer's eyes to the centrepiece, the media player. A lack of symmetricity in websites of this genre genuinely surprised me. Maybe they were like this for a reason, I thought, wondering if a disjointed layout hinted towards a jangled plotline. My promotional campaign is based around being modern, classy, and similar to a Hollywood blockbuster. For this reason, I believe that a more mainstream approach to the layout of this website was needed. You will see that my website is very centrally aligned in an attempt